If you see my picture on the beginning of this video, that was actually me in 2011. It's now 2020, so almost 10 years later. And if you look at that picture of me, you may wonder, well, when did this girl actually go through her healing journey? To tell you the truth, I had a really great smile on the outside, but behind it, I was silently suffering for many years. I was really a picture of health, some may say. Some think that healthy is skinny, or maybe someone who puts their makeup on or puts their self together, or all of those different things. But truly, we never know what's going on inside of someone that can be causing them a lot of pain. So I did have a sweet smile, but the only thing that was really sweet about me was the sugar-filled desserts that I was filling my body with every single day of my life. Yep, that was me. I was a sugar addict. You know, I tell a little story about my grandfather. He passed away very recently, and I imagine that he was probably silently suffering too. He was actually diagnosed with a rare cancer the day before his death, and I could really see pain in his eyes the last time I saw him. And I can tell that he had been suffering for a while. I've moved away and I hadn't seen him in a while, but I could really tell that there was something about him that just wasn't right. And maybe it's just the way I was raised, I'm not really sure. But for a very long time, I hid behind that same pain and I was silently suffering. You know, I see that same painful story in a lot of people that I meet on a daily basis now. And I imagine they probably don't even realize it. Maybe it's a gift that I have because of years of silent suffering in my own life, and I can just clearly recognize it in people today. You know, I see those people and their faces are energy depleted, their eyes are energy depleted, their skin tone is dull, and I can see these tough exteriors, especially in the men that I meet, because we feel like we have to hold up this certain persona. We feel like we have to live this perfect life, especially with social media and all those things these days. We feel like we have to put this perfect face forward for the world to see. But I can see behind those tired, suffering faces. And I'm here to tell you really that you don't have to suffer for the rest of your life. You don't have to suffer any longer. I believe that sometimes we don't even realize it, but suffering can be a choice. And if we truly get back to the basics, living life the way God intended us to live, then we can get out of that silent suffering cycle. You know, for so long when I was on my healing journey in the beginning, I started using supplements the same way I did medications because I was trained under that medical model. You know, we have a symptom, we get a diagnosis, we treat it with a medication. And I went through those same things myself. I got a symptom, I had a diagnosis, and I wanted to get off of those medications. So what did I do? I fell into the trap of treating those symptoms with supplements. And I'll tell you that that doesn't really work. I want to talk to you a little bit about the word root cause analysis, because we hear that a lot and we hear it in today's wellness world, but I just want to mention the fact that sometimes we don't really always find the root cause. And I know that that might seem kind of crazy when you think about it, but we may not always find out exactly what is the cause of someone's symptoms. So if someone goes through a major stressor or life event, that's typically when I see someone get sick. Usually within about a year later, they're hitting kind of that place of what they call rock bottom in their health, or they're starting to feel symptoms really start to creep in. And it doesn't really tell us what's going on inside the body. So usually what I'll do with a client is I'll bring them in and I'll say, okay, let's start you on a detox protocol. Let's detox your mind, your emotions, your physical body, all of those different things. And then put you on a great regimen, nutrition, exercise, if the body can tolerate it at that point. And if not, just some maybe brisk walking just to get the body moving, and stress reduction, supplements, sleep, all of those great different things we start to do in the body, and then we start to see how the body responds. Now, sometimes the body is so thrilled with the progress going on that the client gets well. But then there comes a point where you are working with someone and you say, okay, well, we're trying all these things, but nothing's really working. So what do we do then? Well, this is another part of the work that I do, and that is called the detective work. Now, that's when we start to look inside the body and we work on things outside of detoxification, like gut healing, hormone healing, and we start looking at some of the other things that could be going on that are causing stress inside the body, that are bringing imbalance and causing disease processes to take place. Now, once we've brought the body into complete balance, here's the thing: we can truly live in health. Optimal health doesn't really look the same for everyone, but we all have our best life, as I like to call it, and we can truly live a life that is worth living instead of living in chronic pain or with chronic symptoms and disease. Now, does that mean you'll never take a pill again? No. Does that mean that you will never have a symptom again? Absolutely not. You know, I talked to this guy one time, and we were just having a conversation, and he said something about, being sick and he wasn't feeling good. And I just, in passing, made the comment that I never get sick. And he thought it was absolutely ridiculous that I could say something like that. But you know what? It's true. When I really started focusing on wellness and getting well and staying well naturally, I haven't really had so much as a sniffle. And if I do start feeling like something's coming on, then I'll boost my immune system really quickly, and I never really feel the effects. The truth is that you can do that very same thing too. You don't have to live in sickness the rest of your life. I promise you that. All disease is preventable if we treat our bodies the way God intended us to treat them. I talk a little bit about some of the disease processes that are going on in our society today. Some of the things that people feel are a death sentence, things like cancer, things that we can't go into necessarily, relieve ourselves of the diagnosis, maybe some sort of autoimmune disease. But the truth is that every single disease process has a super sick state and also a well state. So we can actually go in remission of a lot of these disease processes that medical model is giving us as some sort of a death sentence. So I want to help you if you are ready to help yourself. All you have to do is let me know in the comments what you're doing this year to live your best life. If you're ready to connect with someone, great. You can reach out to me and do that too. But share with me what you're doing this year. Share with everyone else. Let's have a conversation about things that have worked for you in the past so that you can motivate and encourage other people to live in health alongside you. This is Chelsie Ward, knowing we can all be happy, healthy, and whole.